This year started with the inquest into the September 4th, 2022 mass stabbing on James Smith Cree Nation that took the lives of 11 people. The inquest began in Melfort on January 15th, 2024 and concluded on the 31st. It wasn't about blaming anyone. The killer, Miles Sanderson, had died. Instead, its purpose was to provide recommendations to the agencies involved to prevent a similar tragedy from happening again. Over 2 weeks, a jury, family, friends, and attendees heard details of the day's events from the RCMP, Correctional Services Canada, the Public Safety Agency, and James Smith Cree Nation. Joyce Burns, who was attacked and lost her husband, said the inquest gave her insight she didn't have before.
This young man that did this crime, where he come from. And, it opened my eyes.
In the end, the jury made 14 recommendations and the presiding coroner made 15 more. The recommendations included hiring more elders in federal correctional centers, establishing Indigenous policing, and requiring offenders with a domestic violence history to complete programming to break the cycle of abuse before their release. The following month, the inquest into Miles Sanderson's death was held in Saskatchewan. From February 26th to March 1st, a jury heard about Miles Sanderson's arrest and death. 3 days after killing 11 people, he led police on a high-speed chase in a stolen vehicle. Police rammed his truck, arrested him, and he died on the spot shortly after. Cocaine toxicity, the police said. Eddie Head, Director of Justice for James Smith Cree Nation, said drugs impact community safety, and this is why First Nations policing is essential.
When local security is that they know who belongs to the First Nation, who the membership are, and they know the vehicles that come on and come out during after hours or during working hours. So they're very aware of that, and that's the advantage of security and self-administration policing, is the knowledge of people with traffic that come in onto the reserve without the assistance of our security people on our First Nation. But it's limited, but there is still that problem with drugs on our First Nation, but not as bad as it could be if it wasn't the involvement of our security.
July 15th was an important day for 9 Dakota Lakota First Nations in Canada.
I'm here today to deliver this honest and genuine apology on behalf of the Government of Canada to the 9 Dakota Lakota First Nations in Canada and their citizens.
Gary Anandasangari, Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations, issued a formal apology on behalf of Canada for denying treaty rights to the Dakota and Lakota people. The Dakota and Lakota never signed treaties with Canada after they settled on the prairies after their war with the United States. But Anandasangari acknowledged their occupation of the Northern Plains since time immemorial.
The 9 communities that are involved today in the apology have been waiting for over 260 years for Canada's failure to be corrected. Nothing's going to bring back the past. Nothing's going to bring back the indignity faced by many.
In August, Elder Reuben St. Charles had his hair cut while in the hospital. He described his stay at Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon after a hip replacement. St. Charles had been growing his hair to cut it only if he lost his sister. When he asked nurses about his missing ponytail, he recalls them laughing.
I heard these nurses laughing. I don't know if it's the same too, but I heard them laughing, saying, well, at least he's got the start of a mohawk cut.
St. Charles says all he wants is an apology from whoever cut his hair. The Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations held their election for chief in Saskatoon on October 31st, Halloween. It was a scary time. Someone plastered the election area with ugly posters of candidate Ali Bear. She was undeterred despite the smear campaign against her.
There's no time to give up and there's no time to break down no matter what people do to you and say to you. At the end of the day, my babies are depending on me. And so you can't break me.
For his part, incumbent Chief Bobby Cameron was accused of financial wrongdoing. That didn't stop him from winning an unprecedented fourth term as head of the FSIN. He offered an olive branch to bear.
We want to say we denounce any political attacks on any candidate. We totally oppose that way. We always want to continue to run a clean campaign, a kind campaign.
Those were some of the top stories coming out of Saskatchewan in 2024. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.